If you have been researching Texas real estate, you have probably seen the warning videos. You have heard the horror stories about out-of-state buyers moving to Texas, buying a beautiful brand new home, and then getting hit with a property tax bill that literally forces them into foreclosure. Most channels on YouTube will tell you to be terrified. They will tell you to stay away. But they never actually tell you how to solve the problem. Today, we are changing that. We are not just going to warn you, we are going to empower you. To survive the Texas housing market, you need to understand the single biggest financial trap in the state, the MUD tax. MUD stands for Municipal Utility District. When developers buy cheap farmland to build massive new communities, the cities do not pay to run the water pipes, sewer lines, and roads out to the middle of nowhere. The developer creates a MUD, issues tens of millions of dollars in municipal bonds to fund the infrastructure, and then legally passes 100% of that debt onto the homeowners. In places like Leander, an Austin commuter town, homes sit in multiple municipal utility districts and emergency services districts that add massive layers of property tax assessments. A homeowner in one of these master plan communities can easily pay an effective tax rate above 3% of their home's value. On a $560,000 home in Leander, that is $17,000 a year just in taxes. In Melissa, north of Dallas, buyers are getting hit with MUD fees that add thousands of dollars a year to their carrying costs. You are paying off the developer's debt. Over a 30-year mortgage, a 1% MUD tax on a $500,000 home will literally rob you of $150,000 in cash. But here's the multi-million-dollar secret the builders desperately want to hide from you: you do not have to pay it. There are established, elite, ultra-safe suburbs in Texas that have exactly zero MUD tax. These are cities that built their infrastructure decades ago using a traditional tax base. They have the best schools, the lowest crime rates, and property taxes that are capped and predictable. Today, we are counting down 10 of the safest Texas suburbs where the MUD tax is zero, and your equity is protected. Grab a notepad. Let us get into it. Number 10, Rockwall, the DFW Lake Haven. Starting our list at number 10 is Rockwall. Sitting about 25 miles east of downtown Dallas, right on the shores of Lake Ray Hubbard. If you look east of Dallas right now, the Interstate 30 corridor has become one of the most active development zones in Texas. Places like Fate and Roy City are exploding with new master plan communities. But those new communities come with massive MUDs and public improvement districts. Rockwall is the established anchor of the East. Because it was developed decades ago as a premier lakefront destination, the city limits of Rockwall operate without MUD taxes. The infrastructure is already paid for. The median home price in Rockwall proper is well over $400,000. But your effective tax rate is drastically lower than the brand new homes just 10 minutes down the highway. You get the historic downtown, the highly rated Rockwall Independent School District, and safe, established neighborhoods with massive trees. When you buy in Rockwall, your tax dollars go to your schools and your police force, not to a developer's bond debt. Number 9, Sugar Land, the Houston Fortress. At number 9, we head down to the Houston metro area with Sugar Land. Houston is an incredibly complex real estate market. The city itself is enormous. And within that sprawl, there are neighborhoods that deal with severe violent crime and property crime on a level that out-of-state buyers do not anticipate. But Sugar Land is a Houston-adjacent community where the crime rate is incredibly low, and the quality of life is phenomenally high. Sugar Land was heavily developed in the 1980s and 1990s as one of the premier master-planned environments in America. Now, here's the secret: when those communities were first built, they did have MUDs. But Sugar Land is one of the few Texas cities that aggressively annexed those districts, assumed the debt, and paid it off. Today, if you buy an established home in the core of Sugar Land, your MUD tax is effectively zero. You are getting access to the Energy Corridor, elite Fort Bend ISD schools, and diverse, culturally rich neighborhoods, all without the 3.5% tax rate you would pay in a brand new exurb. It is a financial fortress for your family. Number 8, Allen, the Collin County sweet spot. Number 8 takes us back to North Texas. Allen is a city of about 110,000 people in Collin County, sitting directly between Plano and McKinney along U.S. Highway 75. If you want to understand the value of Allen, you have to look at the communities around it. Just east of Dallas, cities like Mesquite are dealing with rising property crime and aging infrastructure. But Allen shares the immense wealth and safety of the elite Collin County corridor. Allen is effectively built out. There is very little raw farmland left to develop, which means there are no new MUDs being formed by speculative builders. When you buy a home in Allen, you are buying into a mature city with a pristine balance sheet. The Allen Independent School District is legendary. They famously built a $60 million high school football stadium in cash, backed by a massive commercial tax base. Your effective tax rate in Allen typically hovers right around 2%. Compare that to the 3% you would pay in the new developments further north. Allen gives you absolute suburban safety, premium retail, and zero developer debt. Number 7, Keller, the Tarrant County gem. At number 7, we move to the Fort Worth side of the Metroplex with Keller. Keller is a city that deliberately chose not to become a chaotic, sprawling construction zone. Decades ago, the city council implemented strict zoning laws. They required larger lot sizes, demanded high-quality masonry construction, and heavily limited high-density apartment complexes. Because they controlled their own growth, they funded their infrastructure responsibly through the city, without relying on municipal utility districts. Today, Keller consistently ranks as one of the safest cities in the United States. It is quiet, heavily wooded, and meticulously maintained. The Keller Independent School District is a massive draw for families relocating from out of state. When you buy a $600,000 home in Keller, you might think you are paying a premium for the zip code. But when you run the math, the absence of a 1% MUD tax saves you $6,000 every single year compared to a cheaper new build on the edge of town. Over a 10-year period, Keller is mathematically cheaper to live in. Number 6, the Woodlands, the original blueprint. Number 6 is arguably the most famous suburb in Texas, the Woodlands, sitting just north of Houston. The Woodlands set the template for large-scale suburban development. It is consistently rated as one of the best places to live in America. It is a Houston-adjacent community where crime is low and the quality of life is exceptionally high. The Woodlands is legally a township, which gives it a unique governance structure. If you buy into the older, established villages of the Woodlands, like Grogan's Mill or Panther Creek, the original utility bonds have long been retired. You pay a township assessment, but your total tax burden is remarkably low for the level of luxury you receive. You get access to hundreds of miles of shaded trails, world-class golf courses, a massive corporate hub featuring ExxonMobil, and a lifestyle that feels more like a national park than a suburb. While new Houston suburbs push 3.2% tax rates, established homes in the Woodlands offer elite safety without the crushing developer debt. Number 5, Flower Mound, the conservation suburb. At number 5, we look at Flower Mound, sitting centrally in the DFW Metroplex just north of the DFW International Airport. Flower Mound is the ultimate anti-sprawl suburb. The town was named after a 12.5-acre mound covered in native wildflowers, and that conservation mindset dictates everything they do. They implement smart growth policies. When developers want to build here, the town forces them to preserve massive amounts of green space and pay for the infrastructure up front, rather than offloading it into a MUD. Because of this intense discipline, there are zero MUD taxes in the established boundaries of Flower Mound. The town is incredibly wealthy, the crime rate is virtually non-existent, and the schools fall under the highly acclaimed Louisville ISD. It is an equestrian-friendly, heavily wooded town with miles of trails winding around Grapevine Lake. You pay for the real estate, but you keep your equity because the town refuses to let developers saddle the residents with municipal debt. Number 4, Georgetown, the historic core. Number 4 brings us back to the Austin metro area with Georgetown. We have to be very specific here. Georgetown has been ranked as the fastest-growing city in the entire United States. The developers have pushed master-planned communities miles in every direction, and many of those new developments on the outer edges are absolutely loaded with MUD taxes. But if you are a smart buyer, you look at the historic core of Georgetown. The area surrounding the beautifully preserved courthouse, the Southwestern University campus, and the San Gabriel River. These established neighborhoods within the original city limits have zero MUD tax. You get to walk to the historic downtown square, which is the social and cultural heart of the city. And you get the Austin area lifestyle without paying the premium that the new suburbanites are paying to fund the water expansion. It requires patience to find a listing in the historic limits, but it is one of the best financial moves you can make in Central Texas. Number 3, Plano, the corporate titan. At number 3 is Plano. Sitting just north of Dallas, Plano is a corporate titan. Plano is one of the most desirable suburbs in the entire Dallas-Fort Worth metro. It is completely built out. There is no cheap land left. Toyota moved its North American headquarters here, J.P. Morgan Chase built a regional campus that employs thousands, and State Farm and Liberty Mutual anchor the job market. Plano funded its phenomenal infrastructure not through MUDs, but through massive commercial property tax revenue. The corporation subsidized the city. Because of this, Plano residents enjoy incredible parks, world-class police and fire departments, and top-tier schools without paying a single cent of MUD tax. Yes, a median home in Plano is expensive. But you are buying into a bulletproof local economy. If the housing market crashes, Plano holds its value because the Fortune 500 jobs are permanently anchored there. It is the definition of a blue-chip real estate investment. Number 2, Colleyville, the luxury enclave. Number 2 is Colleyville. Nestled right in the heart of the DFW Metroplex, just minutes from the airport. Colleyville is a pure luxury enclave. There are no massive apartment complexes, no major industrial zones, and zero MUD taxes. The entire city is zoned for large lots, custom homes, and absolute privacy. Colleyville is consistently ranked as one of the wealthiest cities in Texas, and it protects that wealth by refusing to play the developer debt game. The infrastructure is pristine. The Grapevine Colleyville Independent School District is elite. The violent crime rate is effectively zero. When you buy a home in Colleyville, you are usually spending over $800,000. But smart money knows that a high purchase price with a low, stable tax rate is always better than a cheap purchase price with a volatile 3% tax rate. In Colleyville, your money stays in your bricks, not in the county tax office. Number 1, Southlake, the gold standard. And number 1 on our list is the absolute gold standard of Texas real estate. Southlake. Sitting just northwest of DFW Airport, Southlake is the wealthiest, most highly educated, and most fiercely protected suburb in Texas. It is famous for the Southlake Carroll Independent School District, a sports and academic powerhouse that draws executives and professional athletes from across the country. Southlake has never allowed a MUD. The city meticulously engineered its commercial tax base, specifically the Southlake Town Square, an elite open-air retail and dining center, to fund the city's infrastructure. The median home price here is well over $1.2 million. It is an exclusive, unapologetic luxury market. But the effective tax rate is incredibly competitive, often hovering under 2%. Buyers who move here from California or New York are stunned to find that they can buy a massive estate in a zero-crime neighborhood with elite public schools, and pay a fraction of the tax rate they would pay in a newly built Austin exurb. Southlake is proof that when a Texas city is managed perfectly, the residents keep their wealth. How to verify your taxes? Those are 10 of the safest, most established suburbs in Texas where you will never pay a MUD tax. If you are watching this, you are already miles ahead of the average buyer. The real estate industry is designed to sell you the glossy brochure. They want to show you the resort pool and the fresh paint. But now you know that in Texas, the real cost of a home is hiding in the fine print of the tax code. So, before we wrap up, I am going to give you a quick masterclass on exactly how to verify this information yourself before you ever sign a contract. Step 1. Do not trust the real estate apps. Zillow, Realtor.com, and Redfin calculate estimated property taxes based on county averages or outdated assessments. They almost never accurately calculate the MUD tax on a brand new home. If you rely on the Zillow monthly payment calculator, you are going to be completely blindsided at the closing table. Step 2. Use the county appraisal district. Every county in Texas has a central appraisal district, CAD, website. Collin County has CAD, Williamson County has CAD, Harris County has CAD. Go to the official county website, type in the exact address of the home you are looking at, and look at the taxing jurisdictions. You will see the county tax, the city tax, and the school district tax. If you see acronyms like MUD, Municipal Utility District, PID, Public Improvement District, WCID, Water Control and Improvement District, or ESD, Emergency Services District, stop. Add those percentages up. If your total tax rate crosses 2.6%, you are carrying too much developer debt. Walk away. Step 3. Look for city limits. The rule of thumb in Texas is simple. If a home is located within the established, incorporated city limits of a major suburb, the city provides the water and sewer. There is no MUD. But if you buy in an unincorporated area or a brand new master plan community on the far edge of town, the developer had to build the infrastructure and they are passing the bill to you. Texas is an incredible state. It is still the best place in the country to build a life, start a business, and protect your family. But you cannot be a passive buyer. You have to be an investigator. That is what we do on this channel. While other people are just trying to scare you for views, we track the hard data, we expose the traps, and we give you the exact strategies you need to buy safely and protect your equity. If you appreciate the unvarnished truth and want to beat the Texas real estate market, hit that subscribe button right now. It is completely free. And it is the single best financial decision you can make before moving to the Lone Star State. Drop a comment down below. Have you ever been surprised by a massive mud tax bill? Do you live in one of the safe, established suburbs we talked about today? Tell me your story. I read every single comment. Do your homework, protect your wealth, and I will see you in the next one.